All right. I got you right before the hype. Of course I did. But that doesn't mean you can't dance the rest of the day. So I'm Brianna. Welcome to the Breathe Belief podcast show. I am your host. And let's be freaking real. I am here to not just entertain you, but I am here to inspire the hell out of you because there are so many things that block us from authenticity, that block us from experiencing and expanding in our joy. And the number one thing that kills our energy or our vibrancy is being stuck in the freaking head. And so if I can get you to get in a habit of dancing for no apparent reason, then maybe celebration would be your new norm, right? Like, can we detach from waiting for life to give us a certain feeling before we are allowed to feel the feeling? So like I said, I'm Brianna. If you don't know much about me, I really don't have a whole lot to tell you about who I am because that's not why you're here. Although I have some pretty cool gifts that I'm going to share with you. So my number one passion is to really help people become passionate about who they are. Because let's get honest, have you noticed that AI does a lot of what humans can do? And have you noticed that the more professional you try to be, the more you feel like you lose your soul at the door? There's so many different paradigms and paradoxes that we're up against that it feels almost impossible to just come back home, come back to the truth that who you are is so perfect. And the self-development world is beautiful until it starts to weave in a message that because you don't have this course, that's why you're failing, or because you're not in this program, that's why you don't have it all. Now, there are beautiful tools that help us ascend. Like, I am a firm believer in a coach. Where it gets a little bit messy is where we start to outsource our own authority or our own voice in the relation to someone else being the guru or the expert. But here's what's crazy. Even if there was a guru or an expert that was way smarter than you, way hotter than you, way richer than you, pick your magic word, are they going to be the ones that can jump into your body and dance for you, move for you, help you expand? Like, at some point, the knowledge is enough until it's not, because what you're looking for isn't just knowledge. What you're looking for is fulfillment and passion and joy. So if I had to reintroduce me to you, I would say, hey, I'm Brianna. I have a shit ton of passion. And what about? A lot of things. A lot of my courses and my mentorships and certifications have everything to do with human design and Gene Keys. Though I don't believe in one answer because it is a tool, but the tool is to get you closer to you, not farther from you. And that's what separates my teaching from maybe a lot of other experts, right? Because I'm not interested in getting you hooked, like hook, sink, and swim, dude, and then getting you on the fisher's line to kill you and then be like, cool, well, my family's fed for the night. Meanwhile, yours is like dying. So I say that because we have to start using our brains for the way they were actually created. And I'm a huge, huge fan of manifestation because I know that it's not a concept that works for some and doesn't for others. I know that manifestation is how much you're able to use your creative power in the pursuit of your desires, in the pursuit of your faith towards the desired reality. Now, if manifestation's not working for you, dude, it's because you're not using your creativity. You're relying on that guru, that coach, that thing, right? So my biggest passions fall in the pursuit of, like, let's not just develop ourselves as a human, but can we actually be authentic in the process? I'll give you a perfect example. The more I tried to be what I thought I needed to be, the farther I got from myself. So when I wouldn't jump on a podcast because, let's say, for example, the music isn't what others are producing, or I wouldn't jump on like YouTube, for example, unless it made it look like I was in some rich hotel instead of like in my freaking house living room. When I thought it had to look a certain way, that was the biggest destroyer of my creativity. And so I bring that up because today's episode, 5 minutes in, is to help you understand that without your unique creativity, you can create a lot of things by force, by struggle, and by proving energy. And you sure in hell can get there by listening to strategies of others. You can. It's a fact. It's worked for many. In fact, it carried me for 10 years in corporate until it didn't. So we're not going to condemn the paddleboard that got you to land, but we sure in hell are going to get more aware of how we want to get to the next goal, because if burnout isn't working for you, we should look at that. If struggle doesn't feel so good in your system anymore, we should look at that. And when you're not willing to use your own creative way, your own creative genius to get there, then life feels super mundane, like super mundane. I had probably stopped and started multiple passions in the last year and a half and never actually followed through on any of them. And it wasn't because I didn't believe in myself. It was because I didn't feel connected to the strategy or the way that I was getting there. And so because I disconnected from my emotions, disconnected from my purpose, my heart center, desires, call it what you want, it just felt so meaningless. And so when you're looking for meaning, you have to realize that half of that equation can't come from the outside realm. So what do I mean by that? When you're looking for meaning and you're borrowing your dad's meaning for life or your mom's, again, it's like borrowing a testimony and the faith cup is completely empty because you don't have a direct experience with being full of meaning from the inside out. And so what I help people understand and what I teach them is how to get the feeling that you crave the most way before the experience actually happens. For example, when we are listening to a fun song that gets me pumped up, I decided in my head I was famous way before I gave a damn about someone actually listening to this podcast. Like, we forget that we create the rules and we forget that we can be as insane as we want to, because insanity is by definition only doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result. So why not create the kind of insanity that says, yeah, I'm willing to be my own person. I'm willing to beat to my own drum. I'm willing to do this a weird, quote, weird way, because it's the weirdos, quite frankly, that have the most fun. So let me ask you, are you really wanting to create fun or are you just playing? Because if you're after fun and meaning, that is a whole nother realm than feeling like you have to do it a certain way because you're after a result. And you're only after that result because you want the damn feeling. So we can get off the hamster wheel when we admit that we actually are driven by feeling, by emotion, by exploration, by this new expansion. And when we pretend that we're not driven by emotions or feelings, then answer me this: why does every single person in the self-help industry have a focus on money? It's because they are attached, or desire is a better word, the idea of freedom. Because when you have the feeling of freedom, you feel the opposite of a slave. You feel empowered to do what you want, when you want to. So what is the actual feeling of wealth and abundance? Well, I'll tell you, it could be literal freedom. Okay. And that's one feeling. Someone else might just say, well, it's actually my ability to blank and blank. So the point is that you can have so much fun if you start with fun. But if you are waiting for the job promotion to make it fun, or waiting for the person to ask you out before you celebrate, or if you are waiting for the perfect body before you are allowed to feel health, you're effing effed. Because that process, while it might take time, you're not waiting because the goal takes time. You're waiting because you're playing the wrong game. So I'm Brianna. That's where I come in. I'm going to teach you about your soul's gifts. I'm going to teach you what you came for. I'm going to teach you what your creative, unique brilliance is, because to be quite frank, nobody likes a copycat. Nobody likes watching the same mundane shit over and over again. And here's the thing. We say that we know that love is the highest vibration. We say that we understand authenticity is the highest vibration. But let's pause and ask, do we want to keep being Muppets and Muppet what we know? Or do we want to actually know? Because there's two different ways to know. There's, I know, right? And then there's, oh my gosh, I freaking know because I had a direct experience with it, right? And so I know you're not, if you're here, you're not interested in the I know from the mentality alone. You want to have a direct experience. So in order to have a direct experience with unconditional love, we're going to have to do a few things. In order to have a direct experience with wealth and freedom and those type of things, we have got to get into your internal system, and we have got to create the state of feeling before we experience the feeling. So I like to say it as simple as it is. One of my greatest gifts, my greatest assets in my energy is that I understand how to take the complex information, such as human design, gene keys, epigenetics, quantum physics, whatever is part of the subatomic world that helps us understand manifestation, the subconscious mind. I am obsessed with that realm, mostly because I can translate what feels ethereal to most and make it very practical. So we don't need to get into the scientific things of that now, as much as I want you to walk away from this podcast asking, what is it about my creativity that I don't trust? An even more profound way to ask that question would be, what would happen if I didn't give a shit about anyone's opinions? Like, what would I actually do if no one was judging me, nobody was watching, I was in my own world doing my own sort of ridiculous, my own sort of fun, my own sort of passion? What would I be doing today that I'm not doing because I feel like I haven't gotten there? So that's your golden nugget. Now, I do have a free masterclass that I have created for you. So I'm really excited to give that to you. You're going to need to comment below. I have a link that I will actually just put in the comment section to make your life much easier. And what you'll do is you'll go put in your email. I've got a 2-hour masterclass that I used to give premium clients for a high cost, and I'm giving it to you for free. And here's why. At some point, we have to stop waiting for someone to save us, and we have to start understanding who and what are the talents that are below the hood. Maybe who's not the question, but let's be honest. A lot of people are asking who am I in a world that is getting really complex, in a world that is getting really crazy, in a world that wants to derail you from you and wants you to focus on the news or focus on fake things. Now, believe me, I can talk a lot, which is why you're going to have a lot of episodes. You'll get them weekly. So make sure that you are subscribing if you're watching YouTube. Make sure that you are following this if you are on my podcast. And either way, let's have a kick-ass day, because every single day counts. But the mindset that it doesn't is what is derailing you. So rather than putting all of your time and attention and focus into the things that aren't working, start to wake up with this passion every day that yes, you're alive, and every day is an honor. Every day that you exist is an honor, because someone died today and it wasn't you. Someone is going through some shit circumstances today, and it doesn't have to be you. There are real life problems. But when we make it so psychological in our head and create problems just out of thin air, that is a big, big polarity compared to the real life things that real humans are struggling with. So I believe in being a part of the solution. And I believe that when we understand who we are, what we are here to do, how we are here to serve, how we are here to be fulfilled, and how our fulfillment can benefit every single person that we come into contact with, then social media starts to be really effing fun, because social media is like a buffet. It's like you go online, you have so many different options, right? It's like some people really love YouTube while others are like, hell no, I'm a TikTok fan. So like, it doesn't matter what platform you're using. It doesn't matter how you like to show up, but that's a part of today's conversation, is like the smallest nuances that make you take for granted. Like my love for YouTube, I literally do not go to bed without watching some inspiring YouTube video every night before bed. That love and passion for YouTube is why I choose to show up on it and also be a contributor in that realm, because I understand the power of speaking my truth, because it can directly impact and change somebody else's life. So just nuances like that. So if you have a love or a passion or a desire for something, just know that that actually has everything to do with how you are going to be a part of this big world, this big puzzle, not to get sentimental on you. So like I was saying, social media can be a buffet. And while we spend so much time on it, let's be more mindful of what we're consuming and what things are helpful for us and what things are not. What things are fueling our creativity and inspiring us to be more of ourselves? And let's say hell no to the things that are very cookie cutter box orientated and promise that it's the only solution, because it's not. And let's make sure that everything that we consume isn't just uplifting us, but it can be a part of our deeper fulfillment, our deeper meaning, right? So human design in Gene Keys is going to be a beautiful asset in helping you understand, okay, cool, this is my zone of genius. So I don't need to be an Albert Einstein to feel like I know what I'm really good at. How do I show up on a video and say to you guys, I am the best in the world at translation. I am the best in the world at teaching the way that I teach and making something complex and digestible so that you can understand. Because when we understand things, we tend to forgive things. When we forgive things, we tend to have a revolution in our lives because we're able to move forward. When we're able to move forward, what's really beautiful and badass about that is we start to understand moving forward in our own unique way is our greatest blessing, is our greatest gift from God, the universe. Because our creativity is the thing that we crave, but we have been playing the waiting game, right? Wait for the perfect body, wait for the finances, wait for the love, wait, and then maybe you'll have permission to access all of this yummy, inspiring juice, which is bullshit. And then when we access our creativity, life gets really simple. Why? Because we start to turn down the noise of the world of how we should be doing things, and it gets really simple. It's do I want to show up on YouTube today? Yes. Do I want to create this book? Yes. Do I want to create this newsletter? Yes. Do I want to paint today? Yes. Do I want to get a new wardrobe and organize my house? Yes. Because when life is focused in and zoomed in on what would bring you joy, what you would love, do you really think that takes from any other person? It doesn't. It inspires them. So meanwhile, we're all looking for inspiration and not realizing we are the damn inspiration. We are the creativity. We are the revolution. We are already the thing that we desire. And so I'm going to teach you how to hack the waiting game. Because my clients love speed. I freaking know what you're after. You're after speed, you're after change, and you're after results. So make sure that you click the link below, get your free masterclass, and I will see you soon. Until then, see ya.